With birth rates plummeting, youth emigrating, and the economy sputtering, Italy's demographic decline has put the country on a knife's edge, with one of the lowest birth rates in the world, hovering at just 1.22 births per woman in 2023, and nearly 23% of the population now over the age of 65. Italy, once the center of culture, innovation, and economic prowess, faces an uncertain future. But what is behind this decline, and can this nation, rich with history and steeped in legacy, find a way to escape this crisis? Welcome to Living History. As Italy entered the 21st century, it confronted a series of economic challenges that profoundly shaped its demographic landscape. The global financial crisis of 2008 struck a severe blow to Italy's economy, causing a contraction in GDP and exacerbating existing economic vulnerabilities. Italy's GDP contracted by 5.5% in 2009 alone, marking one of the sharpest declines among Eurozone countries. Following closely on its heels, the Eurozone debt crisis further deepened Italy's economic woes. Just consider this: Italy's public debt soared to around 120% of GDP in 2012, making it one of the highest in the Eurozone. The result? This high level of debt constrained Italy's ability to stimulate economic growth and invest in social programs, contributing to prolonged economic stagnation and high unemployment rates. Needless to say, this did not brighten up the love life of Italians. And then, of course, there was the COVID-19 pandemic, which dealt a devastating blow to Italy, leading to a significant contraction in Italy's GDP, with the economy shrinking by 8.9% in 2020. This sharp economic contraction resulted in even more job losses and income reductions, further deepening economic challenges and contributing to demographic shifts such as emigration and, you guessed it, declining birth rates. That's not all though. In the aftermath of these crises, job opportunities dwindled, and many young Italians struggled to establish stable careers and financial independence, deterring couples from starting families or expanding existing ones. This was made even worse by domestic policy issues such as high taxes and rigid labor laws, which eroded Italy's potential for entrepreneurship and innovation, stifling economic growth and fueling unemployment. What followed was a deep population decline. But here's the thing: Italy is no stranger to a population crisis. In fact, you could say population decline is woven into its very foundations. Just consider this. During the Roman Republic, the population of Rome itself was between 100 to 300,000 people. But as the empire took hold around 27 BC, conquered territories and a widespread slave trade reshaped its population to an explosive 1.5 million, supporting a centuries-long economic and military prowess. And while nothing says thriving civilization quite like exploiting cheap labor, it provided Rome with an abundant workforce that fueled its agricultural, industrial, and construction sectors. However, the same factors that fueled Rome's expansion also sparked its decline through unsustainable growth, over-reliance on slave labor, and strained resources. Devastating conflicts also weakened the empire's resilience against internal and external threats. Similarly today, modern Italy is facing dilemmas born of its own success. Over-reliance on tourism as an employment and economic lifeboat has strained resources and infrastructure. In 2010, tourism accounted for around 10% of its GDP, rising to 13% by 2019. And while emigration has fluctuated, there has also been an increase in immigration, creating ongoing cultural divisions reminiscent of the Roman struggle to integrate populations. In 2010, immigrants made up around 7% of the population, rising to almost 10% by 2019. But Italy's population numbers have also been affected by a tumultuous trail of destruction and division throughout its history. For over 1,000 years, Italy was torn apart by civil and political instability and bloody power struggles that continued well into the 19th century. It also became a battleground for European power plays and foreign invasions, including the 100 Years' War and the Napoleonic Wars. These never-ending conflicts continuously forced the mass displacement of thousands. But if almost 2,000 years of conflict wasn't enough to put people off from staying put, Italy also lost a third of its population to the Black Death, and millions emigrated due to economic instability, unsustainable living conditions, and 2 world wars. At the same time, Italy's struggle for unification, or risorgimento, was hard fought for through to the early 19th century. The revolutions of 1848 ignited uprisings across Europe, including several Italian states, driven by economic hardships, social inequality, and calls for constitutional reforms. Interestingly, these historic factors continue to shape Italian emigration patterns till today, but more on that in a moment. Fast forward to 1861. After a series of negotiations, the Kingdom of Italy was formally proclaimed, and they all lived happily ever after. Well, not quite. While the creation of a nation-state was a significant milestone, it failed to address the underlying socio-economic issues plaguing Italy. Southern Italy in particular bore the brunt of underdevelopment and inadequate infrastructure. The period between 1861 and 1900 witnessed a notable decline in Italy's population, with approximately 2 million individuals leaving the country, predominantly from the south. By the early 20th century, Italy's population had dwindled further, reaching around 28.5 million by 1911. These demographic shifts continue to plague Italy's economy and society, as well as fuel the disparities between regions. In fact, the aftermath of Italian unification made the existing regional inequalities worse, with southern Italy bearing the disproportionate burden of economic stagnation and limited opportunities, contributing to Italy's demographic decline and shaping its socio-economic landscape for generations to come. Today, there is still a very clear divide between the wealthy, industrialized north and the less developed agrarian south. This north-south divide manifests in economic disparity, contributing to alienation, unemployment, and, you guessed it, rising emigration and falling birth rates. That's not all of it, though. Southern Italy is also in the grip of organized crime. This environment of rampant crime and corruption further exacerbates the challenges faced by southern Italians and shapes Italy's demographic landscape, with emigration serving as both a symptom and consequence of economic hardship and limited opportunities. It seems to be an unbreakable cycle, but to Italy's credit, it's not entirely for lack of trying. There have been times Italy has thought that while you can't control a plague, you can control the population. Back in the 20th century, Italian dictator Benito Mussolini came to power in 1922, implementing policies aimed at reversing emigration trends and boosting birth rates. Mussolini's government restricted emigration, imposed financial incentives for larger families, and launched extensive propaganda campaigns pushing the virtues of family. But undeniable hardships undermined these attempts. Not only this, but resistance to government control and criticism of fascist policies persisted among the population, complicating Mussolini's efforts to universally reshape Italy's demographics. Amidst the Second World War, Mussolini was ousted from office in 1943 and arrested following the Allied invasion of Italy and the collapse of his fascist regime. Following these tumultuous years, Italy experienced some economic resurgence in the 1950s and 60s, leading to significant improvements to economic stability and opportunities for employment. Urbanization accelerated once again as people migrated from rural areas to cities in search of work. The economic boom also had a temporary positive effect on birth rates, with many families feeling more confident about their financial prospects and choosing to have children. Before the war, the birth rate per 1,000 people was around 1.5 to 2%, increasing to 2.5 to 3% after the war. Things were getting back on track. In fact, Italy's entry into the European Economic Community in 1957 marked a pivotal moment in its economic trajectory. Embracing export-led growth strategies, the nation attracted foreign investment and experienced a surge in industrialization during the 1960s. This period of rapid industrial development not only modernized Italy's economy, but also created numerous job opportunities, fueling optimism for the future. Additionally, social reforms enacted in the 1970s, including improvements in healthcare and education, further bolstered living standards across the country. As a result, Italians enjoyed a newfound sense of security and stability, revitalizing their love life and laying the groundwork for a period of population growth and prosperity. Today, however, birth rates have dropped to 0.8%, a low that is literally killing the nation. But it gets worse. You see, although the age of Mussolini is long gone, a legacy of political instability and messy government still creates uncertainty and disillusionment, pushing skilled workers and educated professionals to seek opportunities in more stable and prosperous countries. This brain drain further exacerbates Italy's demographic challenges, as the loss of young talent further diminishes the country's workforce, economic potential, and baby-making power. So, what to do? Throughout history, Italy has tried a range of solutions, but could it be different this time? Family-friendly policies like subsidized childcare, parental leave, and affordable housing can encourage young couples to have children and mitigate the effects of low birth rates. Economic reforms aimed at enhancing job security for young people, such as reducing labor market rigidities, investing in education and vocational training, and promoting entrepreneurship, can improve youth employment prospects and foster long-term economic growth. Encouraging workplace flexibility and equality, including flexible hours and remote work options, can help parents balance work and family life, and attracting skilled immigrants through streamlined immigration processes and job opportunities can help replenish its workforce. However, immigration is a precarious balancing act that can also strain the economy and welfare system, a challenge that Germany is now also facing. To find out more about how Germany is grappling with its own immigration crisis, check out our next video, linked here.